Aloha. Welcome to Marriage on the Spot. We're your co-hosts, Kent and Elizabeth Kitagawa.
Yes.
And you know, if you haven't found out already, that men and women see things very, very differently. We're so different, but that's what makes things interesting, right?
That's right.
Yeah, and Emerson Eggerichs, Dr. Emerson Eggerichs, who is the author of the Love and Respect books, and does, he and his wife do a lot of seminars around the country, or have been very active, doing that. He likes to talk about how men see things through a blue lens, and women
we see it pink.
Right.
Unfortunately, we didn't have a blue flower, but pink and red, we see it like this.
Yeah.
And the man more blue.
Yeah.
So it makes it more interesting.
All right. And we, this, while a lot of times it helps us to, attract one another, these very, besides the physical differences, of course, but also these, these personality and differences tend to draw us together, but they can also become a source of irritation and conflict later on as we get into into relationships, and we start to really rub shoulder to shoulder and elbow to elbow there.
That's exactly what attracted us to begin with. Usually the differences which we really like at first sometimes become later on the rubbing elbows or whatever you call that.
Becomes more like scratch paper than silk, right?
There we go. Yeah.
And so this is what we want to kind of demystify, And the thing is, it's not just your partner, it's not just your husband or your wife who is like this, even though we see it in them, and we feel like they're doing something to irritate me, or they're doing this on purpose. No, they're doing this because they are hardwired.
Yes.
And this is what we want to talk about today.
We were teaching many different classes, marriage. Most of the classes we teach is on marriage, and I remember several classes where women afterwards came up to me, or they might have shared it in a class, and said, I thought only my husband does that. I find out most husbands would think like that, and the husbands likewise. They said, I thought only my wife is so weird and likes this and that and whatever. And then I find out my friend's wife are very similar.
Or, when we teach a class, and one of the classes we've taught is, men are like waffles, and women are like spaghetti.
Gosh, that was one of our best classes we taught several times. Men are like waffles. Shall I explain it now, or you want to share it later?
We'll share it later.
Share it later.
Because we want to
just think about it, but still listen in between. Men are like waffles. Men are like women like spaghetti.
Yeah.
But before the end of the the show, you should know what they are. Why?
Right. But you see, this is the thing. Research has shown that men and women's, just from birth, our brains are hardwired differently. See, and there's a lot of these just physiological differences between the way the male brain is constructed as opposed to the female brain. And these, these differences actually are what cause us to think different and process the world differently.
But I'm just thinking, good thing both of them have a brain at least.
Well, that's a good thing.
That's
yes.
a good thing.
It'd be rather difficult to hold any kind of relationship without
Yes.
there. But the thing is, a lot of times we look at each other and go, is there a functional brain in that head?
Think about yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, especially men, we
Yeah.
tend to get, because we don't understand how a woman's mind, functions, and so that it's that lack of understanding and lack of knowing, why our husband or why our wife, reacts to things or thinks about things or processes things the way they do. And we see this. I mean, to this day, I can still see, now even though I know this, I can still get irritated and go, what? Why do you even say that? Do you even, But then I've got to remind myself, hey, that is exactly the way God designed
us
her to be.
Yes.
We
are the spaghetti and go all over the place till we get to the point.
If even that, the point gets kind of like, it's a point, but it's a point among many other points.
Yeah, it takes us maybe 7-8 minutes to say what you guys can say in 30 seconds.
Yeah.
But then we only know half of the story.
Yeah, well, that's the whole
and
thing,
you know
right?
all the details about it.
Right. Or even then, it's like we don't even focus on it. And that's, you see, there's the differences. Well, let's get into this a little bit,
Okay.
So, this is where Dr. Eggerichs says that men, we tend to see things through this blue lens, and seeing that blue, and the blue is because when a male fetus starts to form after conception, when they start to take on the male characteristics, there's also this what do you call this process of the brain development, whereby about 2/3 of the connections between the two hemispheres of the brain are actually taken out. They disappear.
So
As
they
in-
have a little brain
Well, we
hemorrhage,
say
brain
damage.
damage.
That's what you like to say?
Yes, little brain damage.
I knew we were going to get to it. But no, there's, there's a reason for that. The brain also, for males, takes on, the brain itself is larger than females by the female brain by about 1/3.
Yeah.
But the size, and this is the theory goes that because men are also more spatially focused,
Mm-hmm.
and they tend to look at things and process things in spatial relationships.
Three-dimensional.
Yes, so we can, and this is why we tend to be problem solvers, right?
Mhm.
We tend to look for solutions. We tend to want to just have enough information so we can, look at a problem,
Mhm.
or look at at our environment and see, figure out ways that we can fix things.
Yeah, we women maybe say, you know what, if it's not going, let's go and buy another one.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get another dress because those 2 buttons came off. So I don't want to go and look for the same button. I might not find it anyway. Let's just get a new dress.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Or and it's like, for guys, it's like, no, I don't care if this. If this mixer isn't working, I'm going to take it apart, and I'm going to take it apart, and I want to look and see if I can fix it, right?
Sure.
That's the challenge, right?
That's for you a challenge, and it made you happy.
Yeah.
For us, the happiness is a new part,
Yeah.
a new mixer.
Yeah.
Right.
Get something that
works from the first
for the whole household, right?
Yes.
Because you look at the whole thing; it's a part of you, right? And
yeah, I identify with the blender or with whatever.
Yeah. So, and that's the thing is, we compartmentalize as men. We tend to compartmentalize, and we think in a linear fashion. So, meaning that we see things, problems, events, as a sequence,
Mm-hmm.
and we don't necessarily want to focus on all the other things going on around it or
we see
happening.
the whole bouquet of flowers,
Right.
and maybe you see the white flower and the green flower. I don't know. But
Yeah, no, I mean, I can see, but see, for me, it's like, okay, how can I make this so that it, fits into the picture right, or if it, does this work here? But it has to have some kind of goal, or it has some kind of meaningfulness in order for me to focus in on it. And this for men, this is the thing. If we look at, and feelings for us can be somewhat of a byproduct, a nuisance in a way, emotions, even though we have them, right? We have them. And this is, this is the part that men tend to ignore, but it's to our own detriment. This is a vulnerability, actually, because we tend to ignore when we have emotions building up, and we tend to look for ways to try to fix a situation. And if we are frustrated, then we can either walk away, just completely walk away from something, or we blow up. That's because we get flooded, because we don't know how to deal with that. We tend to withdraw and internalize our feelings and emotions. You see? Whereas women like to, when you get frustrated, what happens? What starts working on you?
My mouth.
Exactly.
I didn't want to say it, but I
you knew what I was
that's
getting
what you
at.
want to go for. Shoot, you got me there. Sorry. Yeah, maybe it's true.
They verbalize, right?
Yes.
They verbalize, and this is how women process through, especially stress or negative feelings and things, that bother them. Rather than internalize, they will verbalize, externalize, and try to figure it out, because this is how you're processing things. And the emotions, and see, the women's emotions, because they've got all the connections, right, between the two hemispheres.
Yeah.
Which means the emotions are firing at the same time that they're looking and trying to analyze a situation. So there's this, a real, which actually makes them very well equipped
Yeah,
to
we
be
can,
the caretaker.
we can do 2, 3 different things at
Right.
once.
Right.
Why you can wash the dishes, and when I talk to you, you stop washing. You just look at it. Can you not rinse the plate and still talk? No.
No. Because especially if you ask me a question,
Yeah.
right? Right? Because I'm looking for a solution to the question, right?
Yes.
I'm looking for the answer. And this is the thing. We, for men, it's exactly a part, we are sequential. This is part of that sequential thinking. If I'm cleaning a plate, then I'm going to finish cleaning
Don't
the plate.
ask a husband to multitask.
Well, we can. We can learn to do that.
Yeah.
Guys can learn to do that, but it's not the same.
No,
It's not a natural thing. It's a learned thing.
Yeah.
You see, and we tend to. It comes with experience. It comes with when we have enough, quote unquote. We have enough. How should I say, background experience with things, so that we can,
that it comes more natural.
Right.
Maybe.
So we get used to jumping from box to box, and this is where the waffles come in, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Well, before we talk about the waffle, I just thought about something which I shared once in a class, and afterwards the guys and the ladies, they tried to figure out whether that's true, and they came back and said, yeah, I said, if you have several things in the shopping cart and you have one thing, you have a question about it, you cannot find the price, or you didn't know why is this $14 and this $13 or whatever it is, don't go to a guy,
The cashier,
a
right?
cashier guy,
Uh-huh.
because he stops completely doing all the rest in your things, scanning the thing. He totally stops and waits till he gets an answer from someone. Why the woman might say, can you check on the price of this and this, and then keeps on going, keeps on going, keeps on going, and then by then she might have the answer.
Uh-huh.
And we didn't wait for nothing. And several guys came back, especially guys, they, yeah, that is true. They can multitask. They can look for this and for that.
Right, they'll be talking at the same time, right?
Or talking story at the same time when he or she when he takes stuff out of or from the conveyor belt.
Mm-hmm.
Nowadays, you mostly do it yourself. Yeah, it goes faster by a woman than a man.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And first I thought that's kind of not fair to say that, but we found out it is.
There is a. Yeah,
if you're
there's
in a
certain,
rush, you go in the lane where the lady has 5 people, not where the guy has 5 people.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But she talks more than he.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Yeah. But we can work at the same time.
Yeah.
Okay, you go on, otherwise we're not going to finish this show. You want to talk about the waffles now?
Yeah, because the waffles, this is where we get the waffles, right? Because
I tell the
men
spaghetti.
men tend to, this is where this book is by
Is that Tim? No, not Tim. Gee, I'm
just
blank.
went right over my head. Yeah.
Oh,
Isn't that terrible? We've been
And
married too long. Our brain shut down at the same time. Yeah. No.
In classes.
This is
Not Tim.
no.
Oh gosh, maybe it comes
We'll
just-
come afterwards.
Yeah.
But it's a couple. Oh, the Farrells,
Oh,
Pam, and Bill Farrell, and they wrote this. Men are like waffles, women are like spaghetti, and the analogies came because men tend to compartmentalize, and if you look on the face of a waffle, right, it's made up of all these little boxes on top of the waffle, which is usually
part of the waffles.
right,
Yeah.
part of the waffle, right, and this is how we kind of tend to think in these boxes. We tend get into a box, and we analyze what's in the box, and we try to fix whatever's in the box,
what's in the
and
box.
finish that, and then we close that out and jump to the next box, right?
Yeah.
And so this is where, you know, that analogy of a waffle, you know, we tend to think in terms of this kind of a waffle configuration, you know?
Yeah, so when you clean, when a husband cleans, or my husband cleans, he cleans that part, but he cleans it good. Everything from up here, down there, underneath, go even on your knees to clean it. We clean. Oh, let's clean this quick up. Okay, the table is clean.
Yeah, you do a little better than that.
Yeah,
but usually what happens is you go, oh, there's a picture here. Oh,
yeah,
that
where
reminds
does the
me.
picture go?
Where does that go? And then you go and
that
try to
goes
find a
over
picture.
there.
And then you start to clean the picture album.
Yeah.
And then
I just saw that yesterday on the table, the grandma's, what is it called?
the grandma's
bride
brag
book.
Yeah.
And I thought, I need to
Bride
look at the grandma's bride book. And then I got sidetracked and never finished the rest of the whole corner on the table. That's why we are the spaghetti, because we start here, and then we go there, and then maybe we go there, and maybe we come back, or maybe not. And that's with us. We had one experience. Do you remember when we first said, now it makes sense? Do you remember that?
Yes, it was when you were going down to Times or somewhere and to get toilet paper.
Yes, that's the one.
And the car broke down. And I was trying to find out, because you had to call, I think, Keone.
Yeah, I had to call for help.
Yeah, you called for someone to come pick you up, and you left the car in the parking lot.
Yeah, what else can I do?
Right, and you couldn't, because you couldn't steer it or something. One of the belts broke.
Yeah. I had a
power
hard time steering. It's a long time. It might be 20 years ago.
Oh yeah, but I
Our
still
son was
remember
still
that.
living at home.
Yeah, and
Yes.
you know, and then so I was asking you about, you know, what happened, what because I didn't know at that time what exactly was wrong with the car, except that you couldn't drive it, and you started explaining the whole thing, and then in the middle of everything she goes, oh, and we need toilet paper.
We need toilet paper. And Kent comes up, why you telling me about the car, now you say in the middle of it you need toilet paper? Why do you say that? I said, yes, we need toilet paper. That was the main reason why I even went down to Walmart or whatever store it was at that time.
Yeah, I don't think Walmart
and we said, all this for that toilet paper.
Yeah.
And ever since we said, well, now I could see. It took me 10 minutes to tell Kent that we need toilet paper. I think I told you on the phone that I need toilet paper.
Oh, that we needed toilet paper. Or you were going for toilet. Yeah, but it's just like,
never mind.
Why are we talking about toilet paper now? The car is
you
broken.
just talked about the steering.
The car. You know,
power steering went out or so. Yeah.
Right, but you know they talk about researchers they call this spider webbing. There's a term for it. You know, women tend to do this spider webbing where one thing connects to another thing, connects to something else, and you know, yes, my girlfriend, you know, had the same problems, but you know, she did, you know, she called her husband, but you know, he used to drive this other kind of car, and you know, and so it's all of these different things all get connected.
Yeah,
somehow.
we asked once the kids were still at home, like I said. He said, you know why it makes sense that we are women, we are spaghetti. Now look, that bowl of spaghetti. Now, do you see this ant over there? The kid say, yeah, I see that ant. Okay, and I had a girl and a boy. And I said, okay, Keone, tell me, where is the other end from this one spaghetti? And then Tiari, where is the other end from this? Oh, I don't know. There's so many ends. I don't know. I said, well, you have to pull on one, and if you're lucky and if it doesn't break, you will see a spaghetti moving along. I said, oh, now it makes sense. We go all over the place just to make a point. Now I made a point that the show is almost over.
Yeah, but you see, this is why women, because of the way that, you know, that they process things, you know, this makes them so focused on connections, focused on especially emotional connections, because they tend to be very connection oriented. And for guys, we tend to look for solutions. We tend to look for achievement and being, being recognized for that. Women have to be cherished. They want to be cherished. And so if we can remember that these are very real needs, emotional needs from our spouse, and find ways to serve those needs, give them those things. If we can build each other rather than try to live and try to make them into our image. Yeah, because this is the way that God has made them. So just remember, your husband or your wife, they are the way God created them to be.
And thank God He didn't make us all the same.
Amen.
And I'm thankful for you. I just want you to know that.
Thank you.
For our 43 years of marriage.
Yep.
God bless you.
God bless.